Girlfriend reviews. Girlfriend reviews, girlfriend reviews, girlfriend reviews. A couple who love video games. They rose in popularity with their unique and funny backseat gamer review videos. They have the talent, the editing, the jokes,
I didn't particularly enjoy watching my boyfriend play with his balls for hours at a time.
everything. I always enjoyed their videos and I was a fan of them. Emphasis on the was. Most of you who clicked on this video probably know by now what this is about. So, a user on the controversial subreddit r/The Last of Us 2 fake death threats to themselves and blame girlfriend reviews. From the title of their video and on hindsight, girlfriend reviews are clearly the victims here, right? I mean, that's what I thought of a year ago. I was a fan of them. Subscribed it even. I love their videos. My favorite being their review of The Witcher 3 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like just about everyone else, I originally sided with them when the incident first occurred. For some reason though, after a while, a few thoughts came into my mind. I thought to myself, hold up a minute. Girlfriend reviews did call certain people fools first.
Mental undertaking that only a fool would call lazy writing. Only a fool.
Hold up a minute. Should it really matter if the death threats are real or fake? I mean, even if they were real, it shouldn't matter as they're by a fan and not by them. It annoys me that they made such a big emphasis on the death threats being fake when they shouldn't matter in the first place. This feels like they're supporting the notion that a YouTuber is responsible for the actions of all their fans, which should be false.
This is it.
Right away when we saw this screenshot, we went, that's weird. Our fans don't really talk like that.
You have over 1 million subscribers. How are you so sure that not a single one of them would talk like this? Do you know all 1 million of them personally? Of course, neither of these two things are that bad, but they just kept looming over my head. I then decided to review the entire situation, and then I found the icing on the cake. This post right here is what made me go from relatively neutral between the two parties to pretty much against girlfriend reviews. Check out this post that they publicly shamed. This was used as Roger the Eberts. These are constructive criticisms. Or maybe not constructive, but they're points and arguments. In almost every video, they mock other games. I mean, sure, he did talk about it in a bit direct method, but it's just how you perceive the situation. Some things are not true or false, it's just how you see it. That's his perspective. He was even optimistic. I adore part 2 for the memes. Pretty offensive towards people who that doesn't like game. He used formal language such as offensive. He didn't say pretty shitty or they're assholes to everyone. And the only thing that I can see that might be considered toxic is it is really pathetic. And they never said they are pathetic. They said it is pathetic, suggesting that the situation is pathetic rather than any person. I mean, the second guy, I don't mind girlfriend reviews calling them out. It's really toxic. This person made a pun out of Shelby's name, insults their relationship. This is horrible, and I think it's insulting to Ebert to be included in the same post with this person. Ideally, girlfriend reviews really should have just maybe DM him, asking hey, sorry you feel that way, but maybe vent themselves, explain some of these situations to him and clear up any misunderstandings. I'm not sure why that post didn't caught my eye the first time I watched their video, but then I realized that, just like the game, it's about perspective. When I first watched the video, I was watching as a girlfriend review fan, so everything in it will make them look good. However, because of the smaller things I mentioned earlier, when I rewatched the video as someone who is neutral, it's easy to spot anything that girlfriend reviews might have done wrong. Another thing is that in this video, they actually showed several posts that I agree is bad. Like this one, how arrogant is this girl? A rude rhetorical question. And this mod, honestly, fuck this mod. Spreading lies like that. But what made Ebert so bad? He didn't call you a mouth whore, he didn't call you a bitch like some of the others did. I see him as a real victim. He was caught in a crossfire between girlfriend reviews and r/The Last of Us 2. Originally, of course. After he faked the death threats, that's for the later part of the video, but this person called you a bitch and it's fine. Originally, now you call him out, but originally, you were fine with this person calling a bitch, this person insult Matt's eyes, you calling you a whore, but according to you, all of these are fine. Because you didn't include them in your tweet, but then this is so much worse, huh? I know this was the most recent one, but the one that made.
This other Redditor called you a bitch and it's fine. Ebert criticized you with no direct insults and you publicly shamed him on Twitter. That doesn't seem fair.
Also, in their post where they publicly shamed Ebert, they censored his username, but they gave the fans both find a Reddit post based on just the title and the name of the subreddit. So this is Shelby's post, but there's only 4 upvotes. 4 upvotes. So I copy and paste the title of the post. I open a new tab. Since Go for Reviews show the picture of it, it'll be hard to copy and paste it, but you can just type it word by word. So the title of the post right here, and I look at the subreddit name r/planted tank. Go for Reviews also gave the name of the subreddit, so I do r/planted tank. Boom, right there, right on top. See how easy it is?
Ebert probably knew about this, which is why he faked death threats, to prove a point, to show that it's wrong for girlfriend reviews to make a tweet like that. I don't think that faking death threats is right, but I think what Ebert did was understandable. If Ebert faked death threats over one of their videos, then that would be a different story, but that isn't the case.
But never, ever has anything like that we've done caused our audience to go brigade someone or go attack someone. And if we thought that we had nurtured that sort of fan base, first of all, we'd be really disappointed in ourselves.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have made a post like that.
Right.
Okay, maybe now I'm being a bit nitpicky, but what? Neutral your fans? You love your parents! Why would you use the word neutral out of everything? You don't control your fans. You're not gonna change your personality just from watching one YouTuber. Maybe I'm wrong. However,
I used an account called John Smith, went on their video, replied to the top comments, as well as leaving a comment of my own. As you can see for this comment, I act civilized, I did not insult anyone, and I stuck to points and arguments. And here are some of the responses by their fans.
this person told me to touch grass without elaborating why what I said was wrong. What does that prove? Even if I do touch grass, it won't change my view on the situation. Some try to reason with me, and I respect that, but using words such as objectively wrong, it's honestly a bit off in this situation. And some of them kept dodging the question. They kept saying the death threats are fake, the death threats are fake. But I already said many times that wasn't my main point. My main point was that before he said death threats, Government Reviews first publicly shamed him. This person right here, well, he just quoted parts of my comment without elaborating. Everything he quoted was what I said, minus the emojis. And then at the end, he just goes back to how there's no need to spend so much time on the game you didn't like. I never said I hated the game. I'm talking about why I think Government Reviews did wrong. Nothing to do with the game. They just kept going back on that. And it honestly infuriates me, I admit, which is why I'm making this video. I used the YouTube feature that deletes all my comments at once, not because I admit defeat, but because almost no one was trying to rationally reason with me anyway. It's just either insults or repeating this whole fake death threat thing. I deleted hoping that Government Reviews would get out of my mind, but it didn't work, so I just went back to arguing with their fans.
I did went back to comment on their video. This is after I deleted all my comments, so these comments are still up. So here's a comment I made on my John Smith account. You can see it's quite long, you don't have to read the whole thing, but if you do, you can see that I did not insult them anywhere. I use formal language and just list reasons why I think they're in the wrong. And right there, it just says my comment is pathetic without actually elaborating on why. I think I'm the more reasonable one here.
I'm not blaming Gopher Reviews for the action of some of their fans, but had some of them tried to convince me I'm wrong, I probably would not be making this video.
The fact that most of their fans just insulted me instead of countering my arguments might mean that I made some good points. Before and after I deleted all of my comments and replies, I managed to post the last response in several of the threads. So maybe I'm wrong, but almost none of their fans bothered to explain why.
I'm making this video perhaps as a way to vent or maybe to get my points across some people. And also I'm hoping someone will probably either explain why I'm wrong or something else, I guess.
Also, I left this comment hoping Government Reviews will respond and explain why they think what they did was right, but they didn't. I even DM'd Shelby on Reddit with a positive message while planning to ask her a bit more about the situation, but she didn't respond. This just shows I gave them a chance to sell this privately. From what I can see, they never gave Ebert the same chance I gave them. I think that shows that I'm being more than generous here. One of the comments I left on the video was actually removed. It might have been YouTube's spam filter or one of their moderators, but maybe Government Reviews removed the comment themselves. That will mean that they saw the comment and chose not to respond. Had they responded and explained to me why what they did was right, I probably would not be making this video.
while also taking this opportunity to talk about a larger problem we all face on the internet, which is how dangerous distributing or believing misinformation can be.
Misinformation, you say? This reply right here. This quote didn't actually say the things they quoted. Is that misinformation, or is that how they interpreted my comment?
Seems like they took things from our Understanding The Last of Us video, like this.
Similarly, are these Redditors spreading misinformation? Or are they simply saying how they perceived Girlfriend Review's video? You know, perspective, what I mentioned earlier. Also, from what I can see in their video, they never once tried to clear up any supposed misinformation that were being spread on the subreddit. They just ignored these comments until Shelby chose to call them out in the tweet, which didn't explain anything either, suggesting that the statements made by the sub were true.
While we're on the topic of misinformation, let's look at some of the comments. Imagine hating a game so much you try to destroy someone else's life for liking the game. That's not what happened. Ebert only faked death threats after you publicly shamed him. Like, is that not misinformation? Maybe Ebert is wrong, but some of these comments are spreading misinformation to make Ebert look even worse than he actually was. He faked death threats after he was publicly shamed, not immediately after you say you like the game. Do not have proof that you're hating on Shelby because she has a healthy life. Or is that not misinformation? Ebert faked death threats after she was publicly shamed. Like, maybe if you think that's wrong, then that's fine, but like, some of these comments, they're like making Ebert and some of the Redditors look even worse than they are. That's technically misinformation. Is it not? He faked that threat, like I said already, after he was shamed. He wasn't even that mad over the game. I mean, maybe they should move on from the game, but I might as well say I think the subreddit is usually toxic, but this is the one time I think they did something right. Right here. They never hated Shelby for having a boyfriend. No, some of them were annoyed by their videos, much as the Last of Us 2 video, but then he's gone, and finally, Ebert and some of his original supporters were mad that he was publicly shamed first. Are these not misinformation? Are these interpretation?
Once again, I'm not blaming Girlfriend Reviews for the actions of some of their fans. However, these are top comments. They should have been consistent and say, hey, we shouldn't be spreading misinformation here either, even if it's about someone who spread misinformation first. While I was scrolling through the comments, I actually found some toxic ones from the other side, like other people who hate the game or other people who seem to dislike Girlfriend Reviews for liking the game. Since I'm a reasonable person, I actually also responded to these comments, and at the end of the day, I ended up getting insulted from both sides. Right here, a comment said, The Last of Us 2 sucks. If you like it, you suck too. Now let's move on. So a lot of people have already responded to them, but me, John Smith, I also responded to him. You suck for saying someone else sucks for liking the game. That's what I think. That's not fair. And I'm getting insulted by them. So I have getting insulted from both sides, like I mentioned earlier. This one, I said that I believe that they were fake death threats. I don't think that they're purposely doing it for the attention. Yeah, the majority are fine. But this one didn't insult Girlfriend Review, but he spoke in an objective way. I said that it didn't suck. Okay, nothing really sucks though. I think the story was off, but it had good parts I enjoyed. This one, if you like The Last of Us 2, then nothing you say matters. I said, no, that's not right. Just because they like the game doesn't mean what they say don't matter. I think what they say matter, but I'm going to counter it. And just in case you want to believe me, here I can edit the comment to show that this comment is mine. Yep, John Smith. Some of their fans probably already recognize the name, John Smith. That's not my real name, of course. I've been using this account to respond to people. I'm not sure if this changes anything, but here's proof that I was once a fan of Girlfriend Reviews. So in the Reviewing the Last of Us Part 2 video, I'll click reload so you guys can tell I'm going to use the inspect tool to change any of the HTML tags. Here's the comment I left. You can tell it's me because the comment is on top and I have the ability to edit it. Here, the comment I left when I like them.
Ideally though, I would like to speak with Ebert and have him confirm or deny some of the speculations I made about his intentions. Judging by the emails he sent Girlfriend Reviews, I'm willing to bet all he wanted was an apology for being publicly shamed like that, which I think is warranted. He deserves an apology from Girlfriend Reviews. The fact that Girlfriend Reviews went out of their way to prove that the death threats were fake when all they could have done was apologize to Ebert for their tweet and then simply take it down shows that they may have beaten the game that they were playing with their keyboard, but they may have lost the game that Ebert was playing with their soul.